Right. Do we want to go ahead and just jump into this? Faster we get it done, the faster both of us can go back to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I believe it's my turn to recap. And I did just watch
I can help you. It's coming back to me.
your cliff notes. It just, dude, Blight, let me just say, Blight's timeline is the most like fucked up shit. And it's because they brought him into the game lore wise in 2018, even though he didn't exist as a character in the game until 2020.
Yeah, he wasn't supposed to be like this was not his end game. They were originally gonna have him be the dude sitting in a chair, I think.
Yeah, because they have Vigo, the archivist, right?
Mhm.
Who does all of the anytime you do the tomes and you get to like the very generic stories, or like he's the voice that's reading shit out. And then they had some dude named Benedict Baker,
Mhm.
who was specifically during the Hollowed Blight event of 2018. And um I did read through all of those at one point. Do I remember them in great detail now? No, because it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Hi artist, hi six pack. Um, but it was basically some dude who was talking about like he knew Vigo. So
Mhm.
this guy who's like telling the story of Dead by Daylight, like he knew him. He knew his work. He was reading like some of his archives that he had gathered, and then he was also like on a search for some sort of a serum that was out there, which is like the blighted serum that we got
Mhm.
for the Halloween events. Um, looking for the syringes, and then 2020 came around, and Behavior was like, "Hey, I know we named that guy Benedict Baker, but that's actually Talbot Grimes, the Blight."
Ah.
And yeah, so he's been in the game technically for 3 years now. Is that three
Yeah,
years? Is that the math?
something like that.
Like lore wise, 3 years. I have the wiki up. I'm gonna skim through this and try to read, but I'm gonna start off with before went into the fog or anything to do with the entity. So Talbot Grimes was a Scottish lad back in ye olden days. Early 1800s is the best I can give you because at one point he does do some shit around the Opium Wars, and that was like the only sense of like time that was given.
Mhm.
um, but yes, Grimes is his last name, just like who shall not be named. Uh, but when he was a kid, he had an incident where I'm guessing he ate foxglove because it made
I
him
I
sick.
actually I actually looked it up because I was like, "Can you really get that sick from it?" I literally looked it up and they were like, "This is what happens if you snort foxglove. Ah, sore throat." Like it was going through it, and it's like, "Okay, if you ingest foxglove."
Yeah,
So I was like, "He ate it."
which is fair. I don't know about you. When I was a child, I ate plants all the fucking time.
I
Like,
didn't.
you didn't? Okay, I will tell you right now, bluebells are delicious.
Oh, thanks for the raid, Lukey.
um, so
I
I
used to try to eat honeysuckle because all the kids told me that
oh,
honeysuckle tasted good, and I'm like,
honeysuckle is pretty good.
"It's gross."
I
Unless
would
I'm
eat
not unless I'm eating the wrong plant.
I would eat bluebells, honeysuckle, clover. All of that was pretty good. We didn't have foxglove where I lived, but we did have. Okay, so Queen Anne's lace is the good one. We had hemlock. That's not good. Thankfully, I never ate that. But we did have it where I grew up. I found out later. Um so anyway, I guess he ate some foxglove because kids just see some they won't eat their vegetables, but man, they'll grab a random leaf in the wild.
Yeah.
he got really sick, and it ended up fascinating him as far as like how like one singular plant could do so much. He was like, this is insane. And then from then on, he was an absolute fucking nerd, just super into chemistry and alchemy. He ended up going to the London School of Medicine, and while he got in trouble a lot, he still did like really well. And I kind of get the vibe that he was a bit of a Dr. Frankenstein type, because it talks about him always like pushing the limits and like just doing questionable things.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
just assuming that it's just unethical shit.
yeah, it was very vague, but I was just like something bad
Mhm.
for his crimes against humanity. Thank you, Alex. Um, he eventually landed a job with the British East India Company, and within a couple of years, he was like a head chemist for them. I don't know why the East India Company needed a chemist at first until it went into detail, and turns out that off the coast of India, they essentially had some war prisoners from the Opium Wars that were being held captive, and they said, here are some test subjects.
Thank you for the follow, Tickle Me Kruger.
Please enjoy. And he was like, I will. No love sound alert greeting. I'm sorry, artist. I turned off all sound alerts for this.
Wow.
Um, let's see. What does it say? In time, he completed one of his greatest achievements. A chemical that could increase a worker's productivity while reducing their need for rest. He was rewarded with a secret laboratory beneath a prison camp on Dyer Island, which Dyer Island is where uh Elodie and Felix's parents went missing, isn't it?
I don't know.
I'm
Wait, go
you
and
Google that. I'm pretty sure it is. But he got a lab beneath there, which is kind of off the coast of India, and that's where he got all the war prisoners from the Opium Wars that he started doing even more tests on to make sure the drug was better. And then they were also testing it on soldiers, to try to, I guess, make super soldiers. Send over to next time. Perfect. um and there was an hold on, what was it? The most side effects reminder, there were rumors that a small number of soldiers went mad. In feral states, they massacred villages, impaling the populace on bayonets, leaving them hanging from trees. There were no official reports on the subject, and Talbot refused to blame himself for what could only be exaggerated war stories.
It actually does look like that's where they went missing. They said that the Dyer Island is a private site for exclusive members of the Imperiati,
Yes.
and they actually went to an abandoned internment camp. And from the way it looks, that might actually be.
Where he was doing his experiments.
Yeah.
Crazy. The way they tied in all of this lore. I love it.
Yeah.
They really knocked it out of the park with Blight, Felix, and Elodie, like
Mhm.
lore wise. Um, so there were some incidences with the drugs, and eventually, like his work got too questionable, and somebody snuck in, knocked him in the back of the head. They tied him up, put him in on a wagon, blindfolded him. He got like all CIA black bagged and everything, and they just took off with him. Um, and then they shoved him into a mass grave filled with hundreds of bodies.
They beat the shit out of him first.
Yeah, they beat the shit out of him, threw him in a grave,
They
and
made sure he knew why he was there because he was very like, oh, I'm sure that shit was just rumors. Like he didn't believe any of this shit was going on.
yeah, so it turns out that all of the bodies came from the drug he was creating. That while it increased the productivity of workers without requiring them to rest, much like many drugs that will do that, speed, cocaine, it killed them, and they
Oh,
died.
well, that and they gave it to soldiers, and soldiers were, like, wrecking nearby villages.
Yeah, I said that already.
I'm sorry, I was looking up Dire Island and
You're good. Um, so that was all of the casualties of his work, and um, hold on, where was I at? He eventually like got knocked out of conscience. They left him there to die, and then he slowly woke back up and he crawled his way out. Um, as it says here, fingers sinking into rotting flesh, which
yeah.
disgusting. Um, he eventually collapsed and came face to face with a dead woman's dazzling hazel eyes, which concerned me as a phrase because I know I don't know how dead eyes are dazzling in any way, but that concerned me. And then he was all tuckered out and he just laid there and stared into her eyes, which was weird. Um when he was almost dead, somebody came to save him, and it's only who I can assume becomes the eventual cult that Elodie and Felix's parents were part of. Um, he wakes up in a bed. There's some old person looking over him, nursing him back to health, and it was the ancient mystery school posing as a monastery. And they were like, "Hey, we got some research and stuff we're doing. You're a smart guy. You can help us out while you get better." And he was just like, "Yeah, absolutely. It's a great gig. Like free housing, free lab work again, like everything that he could possibly want."
It's
Um
right back on his bullshit.
exactly. Um so uh oh, where was I at? Okay. Talbot's knowledge proved indispensable, his mind altering chemicals, integrating seamlessly with the theories of neural expansion. Yes, he was looking for a way to open up the third eye and see into other dimensions. And he found it in the way called the soul chemical, which was something that could be derived from the pineal gland when like the person was on the brink of death, essentially. So, as you can imagine, some of his experiments got really questionable again as he was trying to extract more and more of the soul chemical. And the closer he got to it, the monks of this cult were eventually like, you know what? We're not as comfortable with this as we initially thought we would be. Um, may have girl bossed a little bit too close to the sun. And they very quickly, I'm just gonna go ahead and be a little dramatic here, jumped and drugged him and dumped his body in an opium den to die. And then, even though he was absolutely out of his mind, um, drugged, and in that opium den, he knew that what he discovered was truly just with the confidence that only a white man could have. That what he discovered is just truly something special that cannot be forgotten. The world needs to know. And he ended up girl boss gaslight kicking. Yes. He ended up taking a stone and carving into the walls of the opium den all of his findings. And that also included carving like into himself when he ran out of wall space. Which when you carve into your skin with a rock, you're subjecting yourself to disease, but also heavy bleeding. Um, I'm assuming this is probably his cause of death because the entity begins to show up. Oh no, I think the opium den got like set on fire at some point.
I'll tell I don't know what happened to the opium den after, but when the entity scooped him up and he vanished. He wasn't
Yeah.
there anymore. It was just what is it? Death is not the end or something was
Death
on the
is,
wall.
yeah. Every note that he had actually written down ended up just saying death is only the beginning, just like over
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
over and over on the walls and on him. And yeah. So that's the Blight part one.
Yes.
Then we have the Blight part two, inside the realm. Where I think the biggest thing to take note of him was the entity let him actually continue his experiment bullshit. He started experimenting on killers and survivors, which is how we got like that's like the canon of how we got the Blight serum in the game for the like
Mhm.
hollowed events.
Bye, have a great time.
Thanks for Lurk Six Pack. Um, hold on, let me see if I can find this.
It
Where
just
is it
seemed
at?
like at least his research seemed to be survivor sided.
Like he was experimenting more on survivors.
Like he was trying to help them more than he was, because he did not like the trials.
Yes,
And he he was very clearly fucking with the killer. Which kudos to him, man.
I'm trying to remember where I got this. I don't know if it was the hollowed blight stuff or not. Um, he he eventually found the flower, whatever, what is it called?
The pustula, is that it? Or
Yes,
is it something else?
the pustula, which gave that serum. And through all of his experiments, and much like many Victorian doctors, he dabbled in his own drugs and got very addicted to
Yeah.
this nectar that came out of the pustula. Um, which is something that killers and survivors were able to collect within trials. So I think that kind of ties along to like some of his experiments of he basically would try to get what they collected also. But he was always out searching for more pustula flowers and he became very obsessive with them. And you're gonna have to help me. I forget literally everything after this.
Okay, so I wanted to mention that he is the only killer that has verified interactions with the others
Yes.
because he trapped the trapper and injected the serum into him to see what would happen. He managed to get like samples of the plague's bile, but there's no mention of him like fucking with her. He just got the bile somehow.
Yes. I was gonna
And
talk
then
about the add-ons.
the doctor, he straight up tortured the doctor. I'm like, "You go, man, you go." But like he was going everywhere looking for these flowers and the entity was letting him have it for a really long time. And then the entity started to fuck with him. And every time he would find one, it would shrivel up the moment he touched it. And then the entity started being like, "Hey, you want to go and do these trials and beat the crap out of survivors?" And he's like, "No, I'm not going to do it." And he's like, "What if I give you one of the flowers?" And then Talbot's like, "Okay, fine. I'll beat the hell out of a couple of them, but you better follow through." Never fucking followed through. Like literally the trial would end. Talbot's like, "Give me the goddamn flower." And the entity's like, "No." And eventually it got to the point where he ended up in like an entire like a pit of bodies of these people that he had beaten the hell out of, and there were 9 hooded figures that appeared from the cult to lecture him because I guess that's appropriate instead of like, "Hey, maybe we should pull you back from this research and calm you down. We're gonna let you go ahead and send you off to an opium den, and oh, whoops, you ended up on the other side. So we're just gonna sit here and be assholes about it." Um, Anyway, they lectured him and shit, and he was pretty pissed off because like, "You guys sent me to an opium den. Fuck you guys." And he finally like he made the deal with the entity like the just kind of threw in the towel. The entity's like, "Alrighty," and just like pumped him full of it. Oh, also, there's one time where he thought that the flower was inside of his skull, so he gouged his own eyes out to try
Yes.
and get it. Like,
Yes.
there were so many instances in that lore where I was like, "I'm not sure if he's high or if it's actually happening to him."
I am almost certain he did gouge his eyes out because if you look at any of his cosmetics, the eyes are all blighted and like you can see through his skull essentially.
Like, I got a picture of him up on my screen right now where you can like he's definitely got the serum in him, but you can see eyes there. Um, but yeah, the he got fucked up. Also, the cutscene where he actually turns into the Blight, like officially, he still has his eyes.
Okay.
So, I mean, who fucking knows? He also found out what happens to survivors, like, when they've been in the fog for so long.
Mhm.
Um, he was finding that some of them just straight up, like, they gave up. Like, they could go in the trials, they wouldn't fight anymore, they were just done. So they were just kinda, like, wasting away, they're just empty shells of people. So, that's what happens when you DC. You become one of those people.
I like that. Um hold on. His add-ons. I wanted to talk about them because he has really cool add-ons for lore. So like you mentioned, he has interactions with other
Mm.
killers and that is shown very much in the add-ons. So was it the Umbra salts?
He really is glowing.
The Umbra salts, a regular sea salt that is momentarily passed through the spirit world, which is how Wraith travels.
Oh.
So I guess he gave Wraith some sea salt and said go wild. I don't
I feel like
know.
if he was gonna make friends with any of them, I feel like Blight would have gotten along with Wraith, because Wraith's not a bad dude. Like, deep down, he's not a bad
Wraith
dude.
players just taint Wraith is the thing.
Yeah, because like, Wraith there's no way that Wraith wants to be there, and
No.
Blight would probably give him something to try and get him out of there, so,
Like,
you
oh,
know.
because like there's that whole like in spiritualism which peaked during Talbot's time
Mhm,
of salt being a deterrent of spirits. So
mhm.
maybe he was like, "Hey, travel with some pure sea salt through the spirit realm, and maybe that's a way to get out."
Yeah,
Could have been a thing. You mentioned that he has a vial of Plague's bile,
yes.
just a little souvenir.
Mhm,
Um, what else does he have? He has Vigo's journal, which is wild to me. So Vigo, the archivist,
mhm.
he literally has the man's journal, which also tells me I don't think Vigo's alive. Like, you know, like the survivors, they're not really dead or alive, they're just like existing.
Mhm.
I don't even think Vigo's like existing. I think we're gonna get to the end of the tomes and find out some shit like Vigo's been dead the whole time. Someone else is reading his stories. Turns out it's Blight or something because he has the journal. Like,
I mean, he could also just be one of the cult people, and Blight, like, managed to get a hold of his journal to
true,
fuck with them because he's still pissed at them.
he could very easily be.
What if Vigo is the entity? Spicy.
um,
That's why we can't see the bottom half of him. It's just spiders all the way down.
what else was there that we had? I forget all the rest, but yeah, like some of his add-ons and everything, like are just so like tied to other killers, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, from the impression that I got, he's not a bad guy. Like, misguided, obsessive, yes, but not like, as far as the fog goes, like, totally war
He
crimes. shit, but
he had no issue and was actually excited to have his own laboratory of war prisoners to do with what he wanted. I don't think he was a good guy in any capacity. That's Nazi shit.
well, yeah, I meant like fog based stuff. Like he didn't want to participate in the trials. He
He,
didn't like that stuff.
I think probably because he thought it was beneath him. He was like, I'm a scientist, not a monkey that can just throw shit and punch.
I thought he was
I don't think he wasn't gonna fight people because he felt bad about it, is what I'm saying. I think he was like, my talents are more useful elsewhere. And it's here in this lab with a flower, you fucking bitch entity.
I don't know, well, let me see if I can find it. I thought I saw like an entry in his lore that like specifically mentioned that he was trying to help people out. Like he may not be a like a wholesome young man like the Wraith, but I feel like he there was something in there. Give me your lore. Where did you go? Give me your lore. Uh
He shares voice actors with Oni Twins and Executioner.
ah. I guess like a lot of times I feel like he's the good guy just because he fucked up the doctor. uh eh.
Oh, what's the void? So
Is it in the doors?
oh, hold on. One of his add-ons has ties to the void realm, which is one of the dimensions of the entity's realm. Um, characters who are outside the trials could freely visit the void. Hold on. Is one
Hmm.
of the only characters who was outside the trials who could freely visit the void. The void is where the discarded survivors go. The void is where Steve and Nancy are gonna go.
Oh no.
No. Ah! I'm glad they have this in the lore already. Oh man. Inspiration behind him is Dr. Jekyll and
It
Mr.
is,
Hyde.
yes. Eh. Like the reason why I think that he's at least trying to be a decent person is because one of the reasons why he's hooked on that flower is because like he just keeps seeing all the broken people, like all the people that died over and over again. As it says, he found them. He founds them just the way that he thought they would. Warm blood pools around him as thousands of decaying prisoners and company fatigues grab and claw at him. This isn't happening. It can't be happening. You're dead. You're all dead. He closes his eyes, a collective roar, and the prisoners lift him over their heads and toss his broken body into a lightless dungeon. Cold, dark, lonely, he shivers and begs, "One more flower. I'll do anything. Just give me one more flower." Like he keeps going over and like thinking about this stuff.
I'm not saying he's
So
void of a conscience. I'm saying he's not good. And I don't think any of his intentions were good.
I'm just thinking that he probably feels bad.
I don't.
Also, it looks like Coco's petting you right now.
Yeah, she's destroying my chair. Hello, Aki. And yes, the entity really is canceling Steve and Nancy.
Maybe it was an add-on that I saw. There was something in here that I was like, oh, he's helping. Look at him go. I need the lore shit, damn it. Don't want to go in there. You lie to me, IGN. You don't have any of the things that I want. Ba-ba. I don't want clown. I want the bleat.
Oh, the adrenaline vial, by the way, I think is tied to Meg.
Probably.
It says a hormone removed from an unwilling subject's adrenal gland, and obviously she has the perk adrenaline.
I like to think that the other survivors were fine with this. I mean, if I had to guess.
Where are we gonna put this? Because while behavior did an excellent job of tying him into like years deep of lore and really like creating a place for Blight in the universe of the entity's realm, they gave him no map.
I was under the impression that like he since he can go everywhere, he doesn't really need a map. He's just, you know, they could literally be moving from map to map and place to place.
That's a lot.
Me, I'm just like scanning this.
I know you're searching really deep to find evidence that he's a good person.
I always have hope, damn it.
I'm gonna.
I swear to God, I saw something somewhere, and I know I'm gonna see it like at the very like after we finish this, and I'm like, son of a bitch, there it is. Uh
Trailer when you opened the game when he first came out kind of looked like the Plagues map. I don't remember it. I remember it being like a lab, but I don't remember other than that.
Maybe if I just Google, did the Blight help survivors? Maybe somebody else did this research for me. Let's see.
I can see how that looks like the Plagues map.
Canonically, Talbot was taken as a survivor. In Halloween story, the killers attacked him and he ran away from them. When he was experimenting on the killers, he said it felt good getting back at them. In fact, the devs gave him a special vault animation that is very similar to a survivor's vault animation. They made it clear for us what he was before he became the feral beast.
So maybe he didn't want to kill the survivors initially because he was one of them.
Yeah, and that's why I was like he started actually beating people up when the he started really wanting that flower. The serum he created allowed him to travel to different areas in the realm. Talbot had to experiment on the killer so he could find which one had the least negative effects. He later experimented on himself, but he didn't hurt the survivors until he mutated into a beast. He also shared the serum with other survivors to help them in the realm. I knew it.
But okay, so he did it. It says to help them, but also like, did it really? Because if it was based off any research he did during the Opium Wars, it's not good. Like, sure, it makes them keep going without needing to rest.
He tried, though. The point is, he tried to help them.
But he already knew that that shit didn't work. He was dumped in a mass grave. It's not something you forget, I'm sure.
Well, that was like pre-fog. We're talking post-fog. He actually tried to help the
Okay.
survivors.
So then how are we gonna do a horror movie where he kills the survivors?
Easy peasy.
Or hold
He's
on,
not the
I know we
Blight
didn't
yet.
talk about this previously. What if we did one where he kills the killers?
Okay, so here's what I was thinking. We pick up with old Talbot before he's actually gone full bleat. We actually go through the whole process of him going through the negotiations with the entity and then finally deciding, you know what, I'm gonna start killing these people because I really want this goddamn flower. So I was foreseeing that they are out in the fog getting, hopping dimensions and shit, trying to find a way out, get this goddamn flower, and we just kind of slowly see the blight, Talbot turning to blight, and then the survivors having to cope with their former ally now trying to clubbing in their heads with a cane.
Perfect.
Which brought me to the first dead. I suspect it was going to be the boy squad because they would be the most likely to have drugs on them or tap, because I imagine that with his time on the force, he could smell a drug addict from like a mile away.
Probably could.
And my last survivor I had as Claudette.
Really?
Yes.
I was thinking
Chemist on chemist action, baby.
no, that's actually pretty nice. I was thinking Elodie. Just because she seems like the smartest one and the only one able to decipher any of his notes or Vigo's if she ever found it.
Oh my god, wouldn't that just piss him off though?
He doesn't have to
Like
know.
before he got to the fog and he was like, "This is my research, it's my baby, working so hard," like, and then like Elodie just like reads over it and it's just like, "Actually, like you did your math wrong." It's
Um,
like and then bam, he turns into the blight.
I mean, I didn't expect her to ever let him know she got a hold of Vigo's journal or whatever.
So who
So,
do you think is going to be the first dead?
I was leaning toward Meg because of the adrenaline vial.
Oh.
Who's the boy
It's really
squad again? Ace,
I
Jeff,
was gonna
Ash.
say we can leave David be because I don't think David would be the one to. I'm just like, if anybody's going to have drugs,
Drugs?
it would be that particular part of the boy squad.
Specifically Ace. I
I was
think
gonna say I could
didn't
see Ash partaking.
didn't Jeff used to be into drugs and I think he got clean.
Yeah, he still drinks though.
He
And he is
does.
a tattoo artist, so I imagine like he's like, "Hey guys, you want to
Coco,
like."
you do not have to claw my armpit.
Jeff's like, "Hey guys, anybody want a tattoo?" Brings out the needle and Blight's just like And Tap's just, like, staring at him. Like, Tap has, like they entered the building, and he just looked at him, was just like, "He's on drugs."
Okay, so if this is going to be taking place like everywhere throughout all of the realm, and they're just going to be traveling,
Yes.
um, oh, where do we start? How do we start?
Let's just have the entity just dump all their asses off. And let's have them go ahead and, like
Do we want
let's
to?
have them all going against a killer at that
I
moment.
was gonna say, do we want to dump them off into groups of 4 just randomly?
That would actually be kinda fun.
Like have them actually like we'll go through some pretend trials.
They're going
We
through
can
trials at this very
we
moment.
can we can break out some of the hold on, let me pull up the survivor list. Some of the
Do we want to
dice.
put them in random groups?
Oh god, all the portraits got updated. They're so weird.
Oh.
Um sure.
Okay, so let's,
How many
get
do
the
we have?
survivor up.
1,
1,
2.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
27.
16, 17. Okay. So it'd be 28 counting Bleat.
Yes.
Okay, so random number generator 1 through 28. Let's get these guys going. So in the first trial, we will have whoever is number 12.
Oh gosh. Hold on. I need to. All right.
3,
So first trial.
9,
Okay. Who's
and
next?
then oops. The next one will be number 20. 28. There we
Um
go. Talbot's it. And number 10.
all right. Do we want to go
Okay.
ahead and section off all the other groups?
Yeah, might as well just get them all.
Okay.
So number 5, 14, 22,
Hold on. Okay.
and 24. Did we get 24 already?
Hold on. We did not.
Okay.
All right. Next group.
Number 2. Number 5. Let me know if I
Yeah, we
get
already
them
got
already.
5.
7,
You said 7. Okay.
21, and 4.
All right.
Number 19, 12,
We already got 12.
9,
Okay.
10,
You already got 10.
17,
Um, okay.
13.
We oh, we don't already have 13. Okay, cool. Next group.
18, 25,
Okay.
number 1, number 3,
Alright, so I think this last. I think we should only have. No, we do have more than 4 left.
Okay.
Never mind.
26.
Okay.
Do we have 24?
Yes.
23.
Alright.
I'll eventually get a number we haven't gotten already. 27.
Oh, that's cute.
And
Okay.
11.
11. Perfect. So
To leave
then
the last 4.
we should be down at the last 4. I think we have left Lori, Bill. Did I already get Jeff? I think it's just Jeff and Jane left. Yep.
Nice.
Okay.
So now we gotta figure out what killers they're going against.
So let me pull up the killer list. And we have. Why is that all weird?
Maybe 23 without Blight.
Oh, that's true. Hold on. I forgot I did count Blight.
Uh, 24 without Blight.
Yeah.
Okay. So our first group will be going against killer number 13.
All right, let me count real quick because it's laid out. It's like 3, 4, 3, 3, 3. Like, you said 13.
Yes.
Oh, fun. All right.
Oh God. As Talbot dies immediately. Number 14. 17. 23.
Oh gosh. Hold on. How many? We said there's 24 in total, right?
Yes, that should be Nemesis.
Yeah.
I think. 21.
So 23, 22, 21.
15. And finally, number 7.
All
I mean,
right.
pretty much it is bingo.
It kind of is. That's how matchmaking works, right? There's actually no real logic. They keep telling us there is, but we played the game long enough to know better.
Okay. It's like,
So,
okay, so the first 4 are already dead.
I'm thinking we could probably go with as Talbot descends into madness. If we just randomly decide at least 2 survivors per trial dead. If
Okay.
not 1 survivor left, we can highlight them and then move on to another round.
Okay.
I don't know if we want to roll some dice for this or Tap is with Talbot, by the way, and on one of your short lists.
Yeah, he was. Because I honestly feel like Tap wouldn't trust Talbot at all. Because he likes them drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like there's going to be some sort of an instance where Talbot's actually telling the truth, but Tap doesn't believe him and dies to spirit.
Of like, she's phasing. No, she's not.
And of course, David just like trying to jump on her and fight her, and Yui's just like, fucking idiots. Let's
Yui's
go
just
get
like
Hatch.
getting generators done.
Yeah, Yui has hammered out generators, found Hatch, and
Which
is calling Talbot over like, come on, found Hatch. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
which, as we know, the one who does all the work gets left to die on first hook.
Oh, we can't kill Yui, not like this.
We gotta kill survivors. There's so many of them. The more we can mass kill, the easier it gets for a better story.
Oh god. Okay, so Talbot makes it out by himself then?
If you want
Is that
David to
how it's
live, I
gonna
think
go?
David could make it.
Okay.
But I would say so Tap dies.
Talbot turns around to like go get Yui, and David just picks him up and carries him out the door.
We're gonna live forever.
Like,
Just
Yui's just like, fuck you both.
she actually Kobe's, but the spirit doesn't respect it.
Oh no. So Tap doesn't trust Blight, telling him that she's phasing. Yui Kobe's, but Spirit doesn't respect the Kobe. Also
Yes.
has no ed. And David's like, we're leaving. Okay.
So let me. All right, so those two lived.
All right. So Legion.
It's Susie, obviously.
It's Susie. Then everybody's gonna have a good game and they're all gonna get out.
Oh, fuck that. It's Frank then.
Okay. Well, I've played Adam. He's gonna die. If you play Adam, you know.
Nia's gonna live. She's
Yeah, I was gonna say Nia is probably most likely out of that entire group to just sell the entire rest of them out or just get Hatch.
Do you want to just do that?
What, Nia just gets Hatch?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like they were grouped up or something. Legion got a hold of them. Except for Nia, she urban evasioned away.
Yes.
So Adam, Carol, Elodie left to die while Nia camps Hatch.
Or Nia finds the key and just leaves them all.
That too. So Nia lives.
So I think Meg needs to make it out of this one so we can get that add-on.
True.
So Meg has to live because story reasons. I think Ace could make it out because I could also see him trying to drug the demo. Like demo goes to bite him and it's just like, oh god, the smell.
Ace actually gets out because he's just charming and befriends the demo pupper, just like plays some fetch. Zarina and Jake were actually fighting for their lives and died because of it.
Zarina and Jake died. Too sweaty.
Why do I just want everyone to die here?
Okay. Well, I would say everybody's gonna die. Realistically speaking, this nemesis is going to camp somebody. And that's how that person's gonna die. I think they're gonna get a 1K because they're a camper.
Okay, do we want to just roll 1 through 4 and see who is the unlucky one to get camped?
Okay. All right, let's do this. It's number 3. Sorry, Ash.
I knew it. In my heart, I was like, Ash is gonna get camped.
I had a feeling too.
Oh man. Thank you for following, Ted Bundy. Interesting name. The twins, another camping scenario, but could actually pull off a 2K.
I
Because
say
while they camp, they can still like
they also like to slug.
they do.
So,
But Claudette needs to get out because of your plans.
yeah. Honestly, I could see Claudette getting out because she's just gonna hide. Yunjin usually like has an outfit where they stick out very easily anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like Yunjin's going down no matter what. Dwight's gonna go because Dwight's gonna hide in the locker and Victor's got him. So I think out of those, I think Claudette and Nancy have the best shot.
All right.
So if you think Nancy dies, that's on you today.
We can keep her in for another round. All right. So right, so our plague match.
Realistically speaking, we usually all get out when we play against Plague unless we have
Yeah.
a really bad start.
Or Alex keeps cleansing.
Hmm. Well, Jill lives because I usually play Jill.
um I mean, we can let all four live.
Okay, let's do that.
I don't think that's a big deal. Now, this is, of course, pre-plague buff coming with
Yes.
5.3, where she's
Yes.
a machine gun of vomit. And I love that for her. Doctor.
I was gonna say, you know, you're coming into a doctor match that's going to be sweaty. You're gonna get slugged, and doctor has chosen the map. So I'm saying this one's gonna be a 4K.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's the doctor, impossible skill check, camping on the game, slugging.
Yeah.
Bill has Unbreakable. He manages to get up and gets knocked right back down again.
Yeah. Like legit, he gets like he two hooks everybody and then brings that last person up to the hook and just stands in front of him and watches him trying Kobe and just sits there shaking his head
I put that they
because
all
that's
bled on the ground.
oh god.
That's
It's like
my experience with
it's
doctor
happened
matches.
to me so many times with Doctor.
It's always a doctor. Literally will slug the entire team and just watch them all bleed out on the ground.
Yeah, and then he just sits there and goes "Zah, zah, zah." It's like asshole.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have an odd number.
Oh no.
I think we need to kill one from the plague match.
All right. If we're going by how people usually play role, it's
Leon.
Leon. I'm glad we agreed. It was Leon player beat a Leon player.
Leon controlled by a new player in a Swift. He was the one that their friends were like, yeah, your favorite Great Resident Evil's in Dead by Daylight. You could play Leon. And he's like, yeah. And he's like 5 hours into the game and they're all like red rank Swift usually.
Only has the Leon stuff, can't figure out how to craft it
he keeps
because
walking. He keeps walking into the locker with a med kit in his hand. He keeps forgetting he makes noise every time he fast vaults.
Yeah.
I love baby survivors though. They're so precious.
And it feels like Leon players are usually making the most like newbie mistakes. Even like the most battle hardened survivor, the moment they touch Leon, like they regress in rank. Just instantly.
Um, okay. So we have 12 who made it out alive.
Okay.
I guess we can just assume the others went to the void.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what
and
we want to call it.
sure. The other side of the campfire.
Yeah.
um, so how far are we gonna have Talbot's begin like his descent into madness?
Okay, so I think at this point we probably ought to have them all like everybody's at the campfire now. You know, they're just sharing their war stories. That way we can have a little bit of, character development and seeing where Talbot ends up going.
Okay. So they're all gathered around talking about how Ash got cammed to death by a nemesis, and everyone's like, typical.
So let me just see.
Was it? Okay, so Talbot, as a survivor,
David's the
he.
only one that made it other than Ace. They're just hugging it out in the corner, just sobbing.
Oh.
David lost his dweet and his two buddies.
Jeff died to a slug doctor match. What's
That's the
wild is
worst way
because
to
all
go.
four from this match died. Nobody knows what happened.
I just imagine little portals open up when they come back to the campfire and they all just look at that door for somebody to come out and nobody comes out. They just hear the laugh. And Talbot's just sitting there like, I fucking hate that guy.
um so Talbot was working with the entity as a survivor, right?
Yes.
Already. So we can assume
Yeah.
that he's already doing some side experiments type stuff, handing out serums to everybody that
Yeah.
he trusts, I guess,
Yeah.
that he actually likes.
Let's see. Who would Talbot actually like out of this group? Uh Probably not David. Probably not Nia.
No? Not David?
Probably I don't think he would like David.
Mm,
I feel like David would be like one of those guys that wouldn't want to do steroids, so he wouldn't take drugs from Talbot anyway.
that's
Uh
fair.
Obviously he's
Felix,
eyeballing Meg.
yes. Ace will take anything.
Yeah,
Um,
him and Ace will probably hit it off.
Quentin, because he would probably be like, "Hey, try this out. Maybe it'll keep you awake."
Dude, just looking at Quentin and how long he stays awake and the amount of drugs in his system, Talbot probably looks at him as a fucking anomaly and is like, that is my next test subject right there.
And then I would imagine him and Felix, once they get to swapping stories, Felix is just like, yeah, so when I was a kid, my parents went missing from Dyer Island. And Talbot's like, I know Dyer Island. I did some of my best work there.
Like, dude, I think I walked through your old lab.
And they just have like a weird bonding experience, and I kind of hate it. Because
I
I
think,
feel like Felix wouldn't get all the details. Because Felix did get all the details, he'd be like, no, thank
yeah,
you. But just vaguely, if he was just like, oh, you had a little lab there? That's crazy.
I think Talbot and Claudette are going to be,
Best friends.
yeah, because it's a chemistry thing. So if Talbot starts, talking shop,
Mm-hmm.
David's not going to pay attention. Nia's not going to pay attention. Meg is going to lose interest. Ace is interested until the point that he realized that he probably can't take that. Steve is being Steve. Fung's probably not interested. Kate's trying to politely listen. Jill is at this point trying to figure out how she could have gotten Leon out of there. Felix probably listens as long as he can. Quentin's just trying to stay away. Claudette's the only one that is fixated and is currently engaging him in conversation. Like Claudette would be bestie material for Talbot, I think.
I can see that happening.
Because out of anybody, she's going to be the one that understands any of the stuff he's working on. as far as chemistry goes, because she loves plants, he loves plants. Hey,
That is true. And
so
he can
she could probably
Oh
actually try and help him with the serum.
my god. I was about to say, because you could imagine if he was just like, yeah, I know I get this serum from a very specific flower. If you ever see it when you're in a trial, get it for me.
My God, can you just imagine like Claudette comes back from a trial with a bouquet? Talbot just swoons.
She deserves better than a
She
man
does.
who committed war crimes.
She absolutely does. But I'm just saying, if anybody's going to find a bunch of flowers like that, it's going to be Claudette.
It is going to be Claude. Because she's also, like, he can describe the flower to literally everyone else, and they'd be like, yeah, sure, we'll keep an eye out. They're not going to remember the description.
Yeah, Claudette will.
Yeah.
Claudette will remember it. Claudette will look for it. Claudette will find it.
Claudette will just be like, this is the only flower here that I can't identify because it's not from my real world.
Yeah.
um, okay. So if he's sharing some of his serum, we said with Claudette, Felix, Ace, and Meg.
I don't think he's going to give it to Meg. He wants to borrow some stuff from Meg. I think he might give it to Quentin because he's just an anomaly.
All right. And is he's using it himself too, right? Like,
Yes.
because he would.
Mhm.
Do we want to go through one more round of matches?
Okay, let's put them in the matches, but now that we know like Talbot is actively working with the entity and he's here's some flowers. So I think Talbot would be able to now at least select the people that are going in with him,
Okay.
which we know he's going to want Meg because he's going to get that adrenaline.
Is he gonna want Claudette?
Probably not because he's about to go and steal some adrenaline out of Meg. And he probably isn't going to want Claudette to see that.
Okay. Let me build up the group here. So, Talbot, Meg.
I mean, realistically speaking, he probably wants a group of expendable people.
Steve, and Kate.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like, who would Talbot not feel bad if they just so happened to get brutally murdered by somebody?
I think I forgot to leave Nancy highlighted as alive. So we actually have 13. I'm gonna kill her. My mistake.
Whoops.
Yeah. I'll just say she was too ambitious with altruism. I'll give her a good ending. She tried to save everybody and she couldn't. Um, okay, so Talbot, Meg, Steve, and Kate is his group. Then we have 8 random others of
Okay.
David, Nia, Ace, Fung,
So
Claudette.
he might arrange for Claudette to be with a group of people that are more likely to get her out
Okay.
because he likes Claudette. So, people who are probably going to get her out of there is probably going to be Felix, Jill.
I was thinking David and Fung.
You think David and Fung would make sure Claudette gets out?
Oh yeah, Fung's gonna be focused on objectives, getting shit done.
Mhm.
And then David will throw himself in front of a bullet for anybody.
Oh, there we go. Okay, we'll take Fung, David, and do we want to do Jill?
Yeah, Jill would be a good one.
Like, you know, the adult in the room here,
I think
as it were.
Jill's similar to Fung. She's like a good blend between David and Fung. Like she'll be smart about throwing herself in front of a bullet, but she's also very objective focused.
Yeah.
Okay. And then our last group is all who is left. What a ragtag gang. Just starting off Nia and Ace. Um,
Quentin on drugs,
oh yeah, Quentin and
and
Felix.
Felix. So out of that group, Ace and Quentin are both on drugs.
Just Nia's asking where they got it from because she wants some.
Okay. So
Okay,
let's
we need 3 killers.
so we have number 20.
Okay, give me 1 second. So it's 3, 2. You're gonna love it.
19 and 21. Oh yeah, well, put them all put them all in a nice little row there.
It's the twins again. Do we want to re-roll?
Number 2. It's a baby.
Much like the doctor, he's gonna slug them all and
Oh,
let them bleed out.
I was gonna say that's a shame that we can't put Wraith with Claudette because we know how that one ended. Claudette made it.
But I will say one thing going for Claudette, if we were to put them on like their home maps,
Oh
Claudette
yeah, Claudette's got that one in the bag.
easy. Just
He is never going to find her.
never.
Okay. So, in the Pyramid Head game, God, Pyramid Head is probably like a fucking nightmare literally for Talbot.
Yeah,
Since he's you know, the personal demons of the one guy. So, I imagine Pyramid Head is just sitting there as the personal demon for Talbot.
probably. I'm thinking if Steve and Kate end up dying, Talbot kills Meg for Hatch,
Ooh.
and
He needs her adrenaline. He can't get it to activate. And he kills her, and then it
oh
finally activates.
wait, okay. So remember how the soul chemical was like on the brink of death?
Yes.
Okay, so he thinks he could probably get the soul chemical out of her, or and so he thinks he can get the soul chemical out of her. So he goes to kill her, thinking that that's a way that he can eventually get the serum, right? Because if he just gets that soul chemical, he can go into the other dimensions of like the entity's realm and find out where the flowers are. So he
Yeah.
goes to kill Meg. At that exact moment, Steve or Kate, one of them is still alive, pops the last generator. Meg gets the adrenaline kick, and that's how he gets the adrenaline vial.
Oh.
And all they see is Meg's icon turn into his skull, and they're like, shit, she got Maury.
I say I could also see like there's like for Steve, like okay, so they're playing against Pyramid Head, and we know at some point he puts them in the little cage,
Mm-hmm.
and Talbot's like, "I'll go get him," and vanishes. And then Steve dies because he's literally sitting there, like as he's dying in the cage, trying to collect that soul stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then we can do that where he's like the others are doing a good job avoiding Pyramid Head. So yeah, he does try and like knock Meg down. Like he's trying to sandbag the sandbagger. Kate's
Man,
out there just doing just doing her best.
Meg gets
Uh, yeah,
caught.
good.
I would say Meg can get caught in a cage too. Or do we
I
do
liked
we
I liked your adrenaline thing.
okay.
So like Kate hammers out the rest of the gens. Meg gets knocked down and you know, the last gen powers, and then Meg gets back up and Talbot's like, "What the actual fuck?" And Pyramid Head loses track of her, so he goes ahead and tackles the bitch to get the adrenaline. But he knows she knows he knows that she knows. So he's got to put her down.
Okay. So Kate gets out of it alive.
Yeah, Kate doesn't need to know.
Yeah, she doesn't know anything. She did her job. Okay. Um, I think we could go into a really good place with these next ones. If we have one survivor from each make it out alive, we would end up with a final. No, hold on. Wait. Wait. We need 3 more survivors alive. The final match, Talbot's the killer.
Oh. Okay, so Claudette's definitely gonna make it out because she's gonna bring him flowers.
Right? That are gonna wither the second she hands them to him.
Yeah, she's like so excited. She's finally got him. Talbot's like his heart has gone Grinch and just swollen to dangerous proportions. Okay, I think David straight up just David's got big boy shoulders for a death slinger to aim at.
Yeah, quite literally takes a bullet.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, I could also see Fung, teabagging and flashlight clicking or something, and
all right.
off they go.
Okay. And because he camped Fung to death to make sure Jill can get out.
Oh my
So we
god.
just need one
Okay.
from the Wraith match to live.
I want to go with Quentin because just like Wraith,
You cut out. Why,
I
Quentin?
said I want to do Quentin because just like Wraith, he's invisible.
He's also. I know Ace also has the drugs. I feel like they just hit Quentin better.
Yeah.
Like he's really flourishing with this serum.
I could easily see Ace just becoming more Ace. And no killer's gonna let that fly.
So Ace also toxic. Slugged to death. No one picks him up out of empathy for Wraith.
Yeah. He literally instead of like loading in with his regular clothes, he comes in with the fucking leopard print and short shorts. And everybody's just like, "Mm."
Oh, hold on, wait. Nia Urban evaded into a corner and got. She thought she could just corner tech and hide there.
Felix, an ass like that had to be spanked. That's just the way it goes.
This is beautiful. So let me go ahead and get our last group prepped here. An interesting combination
Yeah.
of
Unexpected.
yeah.
So they all come back out and Talbot comes out with Kate. Kate has no idea what the fuck just happened.
Meg got
Uh
worried for all she knows.
yeah. Meg got worried and every time Talbot tried to save poor Steve, just Pyramid Head was there and there was nothing he could have done.
But at least he only got a 2K.
Yeah. Claudette's back. She's got the biggest bouquet of flowers that Talbot has ever seen. Jill is like Jill barely made it out alive, but she did it, damn it. Mission accomplished. She got her out, even though she couldn't save Leon. Quentin is awake for the first time in his whole fucking life. Like, really awake. It's like when you have so much caffeine that you feel like your entire body is like vibrating
You can
into a
taste
different
color.
dimension. Yes. Quentin is existing in 5 different dimensions at once right now.
He can see the void and the spirit realm and uh so Claudette gives Talbot the flowers, and obviously the second he's very excited. He thinks he's gonna get loads of serum, but the second he touches them, they wither away. And I think the fact that the entity literally let Claudette pick them and collect so many with no repercussions, but the second he touches it, the one who actually wants the flowers, they wither. Like, I could see that making him just snap and
I could also see
absolutely livid.
Claudette trying to like calm him down, like, "Don't worry, I can get more. It's okay. What do you need?" Like, we can figure out why it's doing this, like trying really hard to just like empathize with him.
He's like, no, I'm gonna work it out with the entity.
Yeah, I'm taking it up with the boss.
And he vanishes. He enters another room. There stands Nia Carlson. She didn't actually die in the Wraith match. Nia never actually dies.
Even when she goes to the sky, it's just the sky hatch.
Could you imagine? What if we did that?
Shows up and Nia's just sitting there with a glass of wine and a cigar. What you want?
I'm like, oh, were the flowers Claudette brought you not enough? I tried to make sure every bush was full of them and dead dog.
I even put them on the hooks.
They covered every generator there. There were
Mhm.
so many offerings burned this time around.
Mhm.
Um, that's kind of funny. I almost want to go with it. Just
Me too.
feed the people. Nia is the entity.
Confirmed in this universe.
So how does he become Blight again? The entity gives him a bunch of serum finally and like
Yeah,
overdoses him.
he pretty much finally is like, "What do you want me to do to get these?" And the entity's just like, "Behold, my field of survivors. If you make that barren, then your field of flowers will no longer be barren." And then he pretty much goes and does the thing, and the entity's like, "Alrighty." It's like pumps him full of it.
So he has to 4K?
Well, I mean, he doesn't necessarily 4K. He just killed like a bunch of other people.
But
No, he got a lot of people.
here's our last four survivors.
Oh yeah, he does kind of have to. Oh no.
So Nia can say, you kill those last four survivors. The serum is all yours. We're gonna have okay, imagine the dramatic moment. He managed to kill Kate, Jill, Quentin. Claudette's the last one. She's downed. Hatch pops open nearby. And he's sitting there thinking he could let his best friend live. He could give her
Okay.
the
Okay.
hatch, or he
Let's
could.
let's get in this. Let's get in this match and get the nitty gritty details
Okay.
going. So Nia, the entity, has made the deal. You go into this and you get a 4K. I will give you as much of the serum as you want.
Okay.
And pulls out from behind her chair a cane.
This is your weapon. Okay. We get into a match. First things
Mhm.
first, these four. He's not the Blight yet, right? He's
Right.
still
He's just
Talbot.
Talbot.
So they get in and they're like,
Why are there 5 of us?
hacker? Um, Quentin is way too aware of absolutely everything. And I
I bet
think
Blight might want to get some of that serum back.
ooh, good. Ooh. So he goes to attack Quentin first. I was thinking Kate
If
first. She's an easy target, but yeah, you know what? Good point.
like, hey, you guys, I think I know a way out of here. We do have to collect a couple more of the flowers to do it. I'll go with Quentin over here. He seems to be having a bad reaction to the serum. Been there, guys. You you guys go over there. We'll take this side of the map. And then Blight straight up kills him and takes a couple shots from Quentin.
All right. But do you think the other three would get suspicious as soon as they heard that chime of, you know, when someone gets worried and it just goes dung when they die
Yeah.
as the icon changes? Do you think they would get suspicious when they hear that?
Trying to think what would cause that. He just comes tearing ass around the corner. It's Myers. Doesn't he
Kate's
have like a
Kate's just like, I didn't hear the theme song. Because
Doesn't
normally
Myers have an add-on that lets him just straight up kill somebody?
he does at tier 3, yeah. So you have to
Okay.
hear the theme twice.
Oh no. So they're gonna smell some bullshit.
Yeah. There we go. It says it's Tombstone Myers. They call his bullshit out. I think so. Kate would be the one like, I didn't hear the theme song, and then Joe would be like, yeah, I didn't either. And be like the extra sus one.
Mm-hmm.
Claudette is maybe alone picking flowers because she
Yeah,
found one of the
Claudette's
pustules.
yeah, Claudette's like trying her best to take care of the poor Talbot. Like, oh my god, it's gonna be okay, buddy. She's like got him wrapped in plastic, like doing like a an experiment to see if like if he touches it when it's covered in plastic or cloth, will it still wither? Like she's over here like problem solving. Meanwhile, Kate and Jill are like,
Something's up. Where's Quentin?
yeah,
And he's just itching for another shot.
yeah. So they probably want to go see the body.
Try to go find Quentin.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, yeah, I imagine he would tell them not to go that way. That's where Myers is.
Yeah.
Um,
I think Claudette would stay by herself. Like, if you guys want to go check it out, I'm gonna keep on task. I've been in this bush for 5 minutes. Nobody's noticed me.
he'll
Which
probably
of course immediately Jill and Kate look at each other like, uh-uh. We would have heard it because he can see you in that bush.
um what was I gonna say? Blight can probably convince them and be like, we gotta get on generators fast so we can all get out of here.
Yeah.
And
Like they're really suspicious, but it's good point.
yeah. So the faster they all get out, the more that can or the faster they get shit done, the more that can be alive.
Exactly. I think he's gonna slug Kate. Not kill her, but slug her. Because Jill's already suspicious. If they split up and Kate just gets got immediately, he's gonna slug her.
Okay.
So Jill's gonna come and try and pick her up, and then he's gonna try and down her.
Use Kate as bait.
Yes, bait Kate.
Ah. So they split up to go work on generators. And then so he attacks Kate. So she gets slugged for bait. Then Jill comes over. He gets downed.
Yep.
He's gonna hook Jill.
Yes.
That bitch definitely has Unbreakable.
Yeah, he's gonna camp her ass. He's just gonna sit there and wait patiently.
Claudette could come in to try to save Jill, and that's when he attacks Claudette to stop her, not intending to kill her.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to kill her because he's literally got the option of work with the entity or possibly find a solution with Claudette and not work with the entity. Also, I'm a little nervous because there's a spider like hanging right above me and it's making me
Oh, I
uncomfortable.
hate that. So we'll do this quick then so you can get away from the spider.
It's like a little one, but it's still like weird just looking up and being like, oh, hi.
So she goes to save Jill, but she gets hit. At which point she like realizes that like Talbot's the one that did this to Jill and Kate and probably Quentin.
You just imagine like the slow motion of her reaching up to get her, still has the flowers in hand, and Talbot hits her, and just the flowers, like all the petals, just going all over the place. Such cinematics.
Ooh, which would allow her because I imagine he would suddenly be like the flowers and he'll like go for them, right?
Yeah.
And that would give her time to unhook Jill and pick Kate back up.
Hmm.
But every time he touches them, even though they're wrapped, they disintegrate.
And that's just gonna piss him off more.
Yes.
Everybody's gonna have to split up and get away from him and try and get the shit done. They know he's the killer now.
My light's getting weird because Coco's climbing on top of my light. I am also very nervous about the situation in front of me. Okay. What an intense match this is already. Okay, so they split up to get gens done. Jill probably finished one gen before Kate got downed because
Mhm.
Kates are good runners. We all know this.
Yeah.
um so he's obsessed with all of the flowers that Claudette managed to gather, just like one by one every time he touches it. They're just they manage to like get away because he's just like, ah, the flowers.
Yeah.
And they all keep disintegrating. He's getting crazier and crazier by the second and ends up rushing not as fast as he will one day,
Yeah.
but rushing after uh Jill
He's gotta
maybe.
get he's gotta get his tunnel on.
Yeah, I'd say Jill's the only one that's actually been hooked yet. And if we say that she went to second stage by the time Claudette made it to her,
And she's been doing gens.
yeah. So he catches back up to Jill, knocks her down, gets her back up on a hook, and kills her.
Yeah.
At this point, he's got 2 out of 4 done. The he can just taste the serum.
Yeah.
There's just 2 more left. Kate's already been slugged for forever. Claudette's already injured. Um Kate's gonna have to be the next target.
Yeah.
Claudette can be off like self-caring in a corner.
Absolutely. She's out there using the flowers like for her botany knowledge.
Yes, getting herself taken care of. So then
Yep.
he's gonna find Kate actually working on a generator like they're supposed to be doing. Rips her off of it, and
I
I
could see Kate having kindred. Like
I
he
was gonna
puts
say
her up there.
I was gonna say I don't think he hooks her because if we go by the sweatiest way to play to really get a solid 4K, it's
He's gonna slug.
slug to find the other, but she's already been slugged for a significant amount of time, so he doesn't really have much time to find Claudette.
Yeah.
Which is where I was going earlier with the drama of Claudette being slugged on the ground and Hatch pops open between them. And he struggles with, do I let my friend get Hatch or do I kill her for the serum? And I think he would close the hatch right in her face.
I think you would too.
And she would just be so sad. And he wouldn't get a flower anyway.
And she's still just like I could just see him like shutting the hatch in her face. Like he goes ahead and kills Kate and shuts the hatch. And Claudette just like looks up at him and has like one last flower and is still trying to help him.
Would she? Or do we want to give her like uh almost a payback of she just like destroys the flower in her hand. Just like as she's lying there dying. It's just like
I got
fuck you, but in French.
I have a wonderful idea.
Sure.
She's got the flower, she's holding it up. And the moment that he takes this flower and it dissolves.
Perfect. Okay. So he pulls Kate off the gen, slugs her to go find Claudette, who's self-carrying in a corner. He knows this because suddenly he senses that she's healed. And when he finds Claudette, and she still has the flowers, or some more flowers, he downs her, and once he knows where she is, he goes back to hook Kate, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna wait for Kate to try to 4%.
Yep.
And when she hits stage 2, he's gonna go back to Claudette. Kate's just gonna release herself because Claudette's like, the hatch is here.
Yeah.
Um,
She's gonna give her her best chance at success.
and then that's when Blight shows up and the hatch pops open. He looks between Claudette and the hatch, and he has a moment of really wanting to let her go, but really wanting that serum even more. And he closes the hatch right in her face.
Mm-hmm.
She holds up a flower, gives him the middle finger. He picks her up and hooks her.
Yep. And thus the Bleat was born.
From the sky, drops vials and vials of serum. uh, okay.
So I mean, technically, the only survivor that won in this was Nia.
You know what? Technically, yes. And Talbot.
Yes.
What a weird ending.
Yeah. Was not what I was expecting to have happen.
No.
But here we are.
Was...
Okay, so let's do the recap. So yeah, everybody gets put into a match with Tap, Yui, Talbot, and David getting the misfortune of going against a spirit. Tap can smell a person hooked on drugs for like a mile away and does not believe him at all. And Talbot's like actually like, hey, look, she's phasing. And Tap's like, bullshit. Well, she was phasing. He was absolutely telling the truth. Uh and he gets got. Um but on a happy note, everybody else does gens. Yui like hammers those fuckers out. But unfortunately, there's not a Zen playing, so nobody got all the totems. So Spirit had no ed. And when Yui Kobe's off her first hook, the spirit does not respect it.
Puts her right back on it.
So yeah, puts her right back on it. David grabs Talbot and is like, I don't fuck with Noed. Just carries him out the door. The next match is Nia, Adam, Cheryl, and Elodie against the Legion. Uh, Adam, Cheryl, and Elodie all die because Nia just kind of leaves them and camps the hatch or finds a key. But either way, Nia always gets the hatch and she fucks right off out of there. Next is Meg, Ace, Zarina, and Jake going against the Demodoggo. Meg and Ace managed to charm the Demodog, and Zarina and Jake are just so sweaty that the demo just goes ahead and kills them, but lets Meg and Ace get out. Meanwhile, Steve, Fung, Ash, and Kate go against the Nemesis, and as with most Nemesis players, one person gets camped to death while the other 3 get out. So Ash was the unfortunate one to get camped to death, and the others just finished gens and left. And of course, we have Nancy, Yunjin, Dwight, and Claudette going against the twins, the notorious sluggers and campers. So Yunjin tends to wear brighter clothing, so it's much easier to spot her. Dwight got found in a locker. Nancy, well, she was really an accidental death. We just went with too ambitious with altruism. She didn't deserve to die, but
my mistake.
Next up is Jill, Felix, Leon, and Quentin against the Plague. Unfortunately, Plague has not gotten buffed yet, and usually we do get out pretty well, pretty cleanly with the Plague. But there was the misfortune of having a Leon main in the lobby, and Leon played like a Leon and died. And finally, we have Lori, Bill, Jeff, and Jane going against the Doctor, which we all know the Doctor is a sweat lord, chose the map, so they had no chance in hell, and he slugs all of them and lets them bleed out on the ground. So all the little portal doors open, everybody's coming back to the fire, and they're just watching everybody come out, and then nobody comes out of the last door. They just hear the sound of the bzzzt, and Talbot's just like, I fucking hate that guy. So they all go on, they talk about the shit that's gone on, and Talbot's getting to know everybody. And he kind of makes friends with Ace. He's a very charming young man. Him and Felix really hit it off because they have the Dire Island in common. Quentin, he's never seen anything like him. This kid has so many drugs in his system, and he's got so much just sugar and everything else he can possibly have in his body to keep falling asleep. This dude's in a non. It's like, fuck, this is amazing. But then there's Claudette. Wonderful, sweet botanist Claudette, who he starts a nice conversation with about his research, and Claudette understands what he's talking about. And he's like, I'm looking for this flower. And Claudette's like, I can find that. I have seen all the flowers, all the plants under the sun. I can find this for you. Meanwhile, everybody else is just kind of tuned out because they don't give a fuck. But at that point, they get summoned into another trial, which is Talbot, Meg, Steve, and Kate going against our daddy Pyramid Head. So, Talbot is still interested in getting the soul drug. So when Pyramid Head chases down Steve and sends him off into his BDSM torture dungeon, Talbot's like, hey, don't worry, I'll go get him. And proceeds to watch Steve die in the cage while he tries to collect the soul chemical, and then tells Meg and Kate that he did his best, but he just couldn't get away from Daddy Pyramid Head. And unfortunately, Steve has passed on. But also, eventually he sees Meg go down, but Kate has been just pounding out these gens, and the last gen finally goes, and Meg gets back up like the Undertaker in the middle of a wrestling match, and just takes off running. And Talbot's like, I need to get some of that. So Pyramid Head loses track of him. Talbot catches Meg and tries to take some of the adrenaline and then goes ahead and kills her because she knows. So he's got to put her down. Kate just assumes she got moried. And him and Talbot and Kate get out. Meanwhile, we have Claudette, David, Fung, and Jill going against Deathslinger. David has very broad shoulders and is a very easy target for Deathslinger to take down. Meanwhile, after he gets hooked, Fung ends up being toxic as Fung tends to do, and he camped the shit out of her. Jill got hit once when she tried to like unhook her, but I mean, she kind of deserved it. So Claudette and Jill get out of there, but Claudette did get a lot of the flowers and brings them back with her.
She spent the whole match
Finally,
in
we
the
have
bushes.
Nia, Ace, Quentin, and Felix against the Wraith. Nia tried to urban invade into a corner and she got knocked down. Ace is toxic because he got the serum. Him and Quentin had a little bit of the serum from Talbot. And Ace, like, he loaded it. It was like Sailor Moon. He just came in, he was sparkling, leopard covered, and just glitter everywhere, but the glitter like had a weird smell to it. So when he got slugged, the entire team just left him to be. Like, he was being toxic anyway. Like, it wasn't even a flashlight. He was just that damn sparkly. And like Wraith was getting stubbed left and right. So everybody was just like, we're just gonna leave him to die. We feel bad for this Wraith. So Ace just, bleeds out and dies. Felix has an ass that just cannot be left unspanked, so Wraith went ahead and moried him. So Quentin's the only one that got out because Quentin is more awake than he has ever been, but like Wraith, he's also invisible, so he got out. So everybody ends up meeting up again and sharing what happened. Claudette's like, here, I got you these flowers. It's like the biggest bouquet he's ever seen. Talbot's like freaking out, so excited. And the moment he touches them, they all shrivel up. And he just goes off into like a fit of rage. He's really upset. Claudette's like, don't worry, we'll find on this. We can do this, we can fix this. And he's like, fuck no, I want to see the manager. So
Full
off Talbot
Karen mode
goes.
activated.
Yeah. So off goes Talbot to speak to the manager. Little does anybody know that Nia is actually the entity. So when he goes in there, she's just sitting on her chair with her leg crossed, a wine glass in one hand and a cigar in her mouth. And she's just like, what can I do for you? And Talbot's like, I want the flowers. Nia's is like, all right, you can next match, and if you get a 4K, you can get all the serum you want. And also, you have to use this cane as a weapon. Sorry, that's the rule. So Talbot's like, fine. And he loads into a match with Kate, Claudette, Jill, and Quentin. Now, they're all very suspicious because why are there 5 of them instead of 4 of them? And they're like, you know what? Maybe it's just like it's an anomaly, something weird's going on. But let's get this done. We should find some more of those flowers because we can find a way out of here. We got this. So you two go with Claudette, talking to Kate and Jill, and I'll go with Quentin because he's obviously having a real bad reaction to the serum. I've been there. I can help him through it. So they go ahead and they split up. Talbot goes ahead and offs Quentin because he wants some of that serum. So the girls hear the hear the bong of somebody fucking dying. And Talbot's like, oh shit. So he runs out there and he's like, oh my god, it's Myers. He's got Tombstone. And they're like, no. He's like, yeah. He's just straight up just killed him. And they're like, no. It's like, I didn't hear them. And Jill's like, neither did I. Claudette's in her own fucking world, like out there, like taking care of the flowers. She's just taking care of shit. And finally they decide that they're just gonna go do gens because whether he's telling the truth or not, they're only gonna survive if they do gens and they power the gates and leave. So off they go. Talbot decides to go after Kate first and use her as Kate bait. So he nails her and leaves her on the ground and waits for Jill. Jill goes to pick up Kate and he downs Jill. He goes ahead and hooks Jill, and he is fully planning on camping her ass because she's been rude as fuck about this whole thing, calling him out on his lies and shit. But Claudette's like, "Oh god, somebody's slugged and somebody's on the hook," and goes against every Claudette in the world and runs up and pulls her off of the hook. Um, and Talbot hits her, and the flowers that she was carrying, they just go everywhere. And Talbot's grabbing them out of midair, and they're all just shriveling up. And so Claudette gets Jill out of there, picks Kate up, and they all go run off to go do gens, except for Claudette, who finally gives in to her nature and starts self-caring in a corner. Um, so immediately Talbot's like, okay, I'm gonna go and tunnel Jill. So he goes ahead and he kills Jill. Kate is doing that Kate thing and is still on the gens, working her butt off, and he just rips her off of the gen
It was
and slugs
99.
her. Yeah. Slugs her because he's got to get that 4K. He finds Claudette and he downs her. Goes back for Kate, throws her up on the hook. Claudette is like, I got the hatch. I got the hatch. And Kate's like, go ahead and missing skill checks. Let's do this. So Kate tries to kill herself on the hook. Uh Talbot's hanging out there in case she 4%'s off of the hook. She doesn't. And he comes back for Claudette just as the hatch pops open. And Claudette has just a little bit more space to go. And he's looking at Claudette and he's looking at the hatch and he's sitting there troubled because he just made very good friends with his Claudette. She's done nothing but help him. And he really doesn't like the entity because the entity's fucking with him for so goddamn long. Who knows if when he goes ahead and kills Claudette, if he's even gonna get anything. And before he knows it, he's already shut the hatch because he wants his drugs, goddammit. Claudette looks up at him, just the sparkling purity of a Claudette holding that flower, and the moment it withers, it reveals the middle finger that had been hiding underneath it. So he hooks her and finally becomes the Bleat that we all know. Leaving the last survivors is Nia because she's the entity, and Talbot, who has now become the Bleat.